bit of Crom talk. We're still in part 5, and Cromwell's come upon the king as he's kind of sitting over stuff, and he kind of looks up at him, looks at, like, suddenly, like, he doesn't recognize him for a second, and he says, he's at twilight, and he's looking over books, and it's like, "You look cold, Thomas. Come to the fire. I was thinking that sometimes we should pray together. How do you pray, my lord? Do you begin with your paternoster, or do you repeat a psalm, or do you say words of your own devising?" He looks closely at the king and sees the question is not a trap, because you're always looking to see that. He says, "I praise God as master of our ships. No tempest will sink us." And so this is something that Mantell does, is that she then goes into a thing about kind of king granting a license to an alchemist to return to England. And, he sooner or later, Cromwell warns the king, all men grow desperate, and then they turn to necromancy. And then we get the final little stinger paragraph, which is, "I also," he thinks, "sit at my desk day after day, waiting for the cardinal to whisper in my ear." So we've hopped back. It's a punch. It's a punch back to that earlier scene. Just that how do you pray? And it says, so it's, "I also," he thinks, "sit at my desk day after day, waiting for the cardinal to whisper in my ear," which is, of course, it's Cardinal Wolsey, and his Cromwell's lost father figure, basically driven to death by Henry VIII when he fell out of favor from the king. And that idea of, I sitting day after day at my desk waiting for the cardinal to whisper in my ear. At one point, even though the cardinal was gone, he would whisper in Cromwell's ear and would advise him. He'd have the cardinal's voice there saying, "Well, here's what you should do," or giving him advice, giving him guidance. But he's gone beyond that. Now, has he gone beyond that in the sense that he's in uncharted territory? He's surpassed the cardinal, or has he gone beyond that because he's no longer worthy? I mean, a part of the reason why he feels cut off from the Wolsey is because Wolsey's daughter says the cardinal went to his death believing that you betrayed him, and there's something in that Cromwell feels like maybe I did betray him, and that has cut himself off from that guidance, from that father. There's also that thing of prayer, like, praying to God, but God doesn't answer, which is maybe more of a contemporary interpretation. More, I think, you very much feel that Cromwell deeply does believe he's a gospel man. He believes in the book, and he obviously believes in God and all that. But in some ways, he also feels like, even though he's trying to be a servant to bring that, what he believes as kind of a truth, bring people out of ignorance into, by reading the Bible versus not having that information, information being held by the church. There's also a sense that he feels like, you do definitely get the sense that Cromwell feels like he is one of the damned, that he is cut off from the knowledge of God, cut off from his cardinal as well. So yeah, that's my additional Crom thought for the day.